It's 1923, Berlin, Germany. A loaf of bread costs 200 billion marks, not because bread became more valuable, because the mark became worthless. A middle-class family, educated, employed, responsible, watches their life savings evaporate in a matter of weeks. The money didn't disappear, it simply stopped meaning anything. But here's what the history books don't tell you. Some people walked out of 1923 wealthier than when they walked in, not because they were lucky, because they held the right things. And those same right things appear again and again, in Rome, in Zimbabwe, in Argentina, in France, in China, across 2,000 years of monetary failure. Today, we're going to name all 6 of them. Every currency collapse follows a pattern. Governments spend more than they have. They print money to cover the gap. Prices rise, trust erodes, and then, suddenly or slowly, the currency dies. It happened to the Roman denarius, to the Weimar Reichsmark, to the Zimbabwean dollar, to the Argentine peso, to the Venezuelan bolivar. Different centuries, different continents, different causes. But when researchers analyze these collapses, forensically asset by asset, they find the same 6 things holding value every single time. This isn't theory. This is a 2,000-year track record. Number 1, gold. This one surprises nobody, but the reason it survives might. When Emperor Nero began debasing the Roman denarius in 64 AD, shaving silver content to fund his ambitions, citizens who held physical gold coins didn't just protect their wealth, they grew it. Because as the official currency degraded, gold became the only universally trusted unit of exchange. The same pattern appears in Weimar Germany. As the Reichsmark lost 99.9% of its value between 1921 and 1923, gold maintained purchasing power almost precisely. 1 ounce bought roughly the same amount of goods before the hyperinflation and after it. Why? Because gold has 3 properties that no government can strip away. It cannot be printed, it cannot be debased, and it is recognized across every border. It is not an investment, it is a financial memory, and history remembers it every time. Number 2, productive land. Not all land. There is a critical difference. During Rome's slow monetary collapse, spanning nearly 3 centuries, the aristocratic class who survived were almost exclusively landowners. Not merchants, not bankers, landowners, because land produces food. And in a collapsing economy, food is the only currency nobody disputes. In Weimar Germany, farmers were among the wealthiest people in the country during the worst of the hyperinflation. They could exchange a sack of potatoes for goods that would have cost a fortune in marks. Their land didn't appear on any stock exchange. No government could print more of it. The lesson here is ancient, and it is consistent. When the numbers on paper lose meaning, the acres you stand on do not. Number 3, practical skills. This one gets overlooked because it doesn't appear on a balance sheet. But study the social histories of every major currency collapse, and a pattern emerges. The blacksmith keeps working, the carpenter keeps building, the doctor keeps treating. Not because their skills became investments, because their skills became currency. In post-war Hungary in 1946, the site of the worst hyperinflation ever recorded, with prices doubling every 15 hours. A skilled tradesman could barter directly for food, shelter, and goods. His tools didn't devalue overnight. His knowledge didn't devalue at all. Contrast this with the bank clerk, the office administrator, the middle manager. Their value was entirely denominated in the currency. When the currency died, so did their economic leverage. Skills are the only store of value that cannot be seized, debased, or printed away. We're halfway through, but the next 3, these are the ones the history books tend to skip. If you're finding this useful, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from. Number 4, foreign currency. During Argentina's 2001 peso collapse, when the government froze bank accounts overnight in what became known as the Corralito, ordinary citizens who held US dollars in physical cash were largely insulated from the immediate catastrophe. The same dynamic appeared in Lebanon's 2019 banking crisis, in Venezuela after 2013, and in Zimbabwe under Mugabe's hyperinflation regime. When a local currency fails, stable foreign currencies become the de facto alternative. The US dollar, the Swiss franc, historically the British pound sterling. The key word here is physical. Digital holdings in a failing banking system can be frozen. Physical notes cannot. During China's monetary crises of the 1930s and 40s, merchants who held silver, functioning as hard foreign money, navigated the chaos far better than those denominated in paper. Hard money held physically. That is the pattern. Number 5. Physical commodities: food, medicine, fuel, basic tools. In post-Soviet Russia, the early 1990s saw the ruble collapse under economic liberalization. Formal wages became almost meaningless, but a factory worker who could take home a few liters of fuel, or a food industry worker who could divert a portion of produce, these individuals had real tradable wealth. In Zimbabwe, under hyperinflation, cigarettes functioned as currency. In the Weimar Republic, sugar and coffee were hoarded with the same fervor as gold. The principle is simple. When a currency loses its function as a medium of exchange, people revert to trading things of direct utility. Commodities never lose their utility. A sack of flour is worth something in any language, under any monetary system, in any century. This is the oldest economic truth there is. Number 6, and this is the one that almost never appears in financial analyses: social capital, community networks, mutual trust, local reputation. In every major currency collapse ever studied, from the fall of the Western Roman Empire to the Great Depression, to the hyperinflationary episodes of the 20th century, the individuals and families who fared best were not always the wealthiest going in. They were the most connected. A farmer with a surplus could trade directly with a doctor who needed food. A carpenter could fix a roof in exchange for a month's shelter. These transactions required no currency, no bank, no institutional trust. They required only one thing: a relationship built before the crisis arrived. Economic historians studying Argentina's 2001 collapse found that survival outcomes in the worst affected communities tracked more closely with social cohesion than with prior wealth. Trust, in extremis, is a currency, and it is the one currency that no government in history has ever successfully debased. So, 6 things that held value across every major currency collapse in recorded history: gold, productive land, practical skills, foreign hard currency, physical commodities, and social capital. Not one of them is a financial product. Not one of them requires a brokerage account, a hedge fund, or a government guarantee. They are old, they are consistent, and they have outlasted every single currency ever created. The Roman denarius is gone, the Weimar Reichsmark is gone, the Zimbabwean dollar is gone. The 6 things we just named are still here. If you want to understand the financial forces that shaped and destroyed the greatest empires in history, this channel exists for exactly that. Subscribe to History's Ledger, because the money always tells the story, and we read the ledger.